Hi everybody, Alex Deployer from Expert Forex, and today I'd like to talk about the MT4 Forex Weekend Gap Trader. Basically it trades the gap that is left by the Friday price and the Monday opening. Often there's a big gap that exists between the closing price on Friday and Monday, and statistics shows us that in the majority of cases that gap closes. And what this EA does is basically trades that gap. It's not as simple as it sounds because brokers increase their spreads on a Monday morning because of a bit of uncertainty about the market. They want the market to stabilize for a bit. So the EA basically manages that spread management by the broker. It also just trades the weekend gap according to the trader's instructions, what kind of stop it wants and what kind of target it wants. Anyway, what I want to look at specifically today is an extremely interesting fact that's come out of our running monitoring accounts on this EA. Now, I must point out these monitoring accounts aren't to prove that the EA is the most profitable thing in the world. It's actually to analyze the gap trading, to see specifically which settings are the best and also which currencies are the best. So monitoring accounts, often our clients look at the monitoring account, oh, the monitoring account is making a loss. That's great because it's showing us which currencies to avoid, and then if you isolate it just on the currencies that are doing well, you see the most fantastic results. So let's have a quick look at some of those results. There's over 400 days of testing that's gone into it, and we've tested 3 types of settings. So let's have a look at it. So there are 3 groups of settings. There's the volatility settings, the default settings, and also the optimized settings that you could use with this EA. We're going to look at the volatility settings that basically take into account the volatility of the currency, and either you don't trade low volatility currencies and you trade the higher volatility currencies. So the results for the last 420 days show on this chart that we're looking at right now. The win ratio is at 56.2% at the moment, and bear in mind that's a year and a half that it's been running at that kind of level. If you look at the number of currencies that we've tested about 20 currencies in this particular area, and the important thing now is to have a look at the results of these currencies. Now, the nice thing about FX Blue is you get quite a good analysis format coming out here, and the first thing that I like doing is sorting these currencies in profitability order, so we can immediately see which currencies to avoid and which ones are more tradable for this type of trade. So if we look at the most profitable one was the New Zealand yen, then the USD yen, then the Euro Oz, then the Oz US, the Euro New Zealand, and then the Pound Oz. Now, isn't that interesting that all of those currencies contained what? You tell me. They all contain currencies that were active when the Forex market opened on a Monday morning. So the New Zealand dollar, the Australian dollar, and the Japanese yen are the Asian currencies. And that's why it's good to trade the weekend gap using Asian currencies. Now, this is quite a big discovery for a lot of people, because they haven't thought the process through. The market needs liquidity to provide movement in the Forex market. And the only markets that are open at that time of day is Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. And they provide the liquidity in the market for it to move. And also, from trading to over 20 currencies, we can now shortlist our list of currencies that we're trading right down to 6 currencies. That's the beauty of running monitoring accounts. All right, so let's have a look at the default settings. And if we look at the chart again, the default setting was overall nicely positive in terms of a 55% success rate for all the currencies that were tested. If we look at the most profitable currencies in this group, we've got the Euro Oz, the USD yen, the US franc, and the Oz USD. Now, the USD franc is an odd one because that is a USD and a European currency. So that is the odd one out. But there were very few trades, so I'm going to ignore that particular currency and go for the other three. The Australian US dollar seems to be the most consistent one when looking at the three settings. At this stage, I'm not going to look at the optimized settings because that's a fairly specialized area. But the lesson from today is that when trading the weekend gap EA, you should select currencies that come from the Asian market. They will provide the liquidity and movement for you to succeed at trading these currencies. The success rate on these currencies has also been quite high. So from me, Alex Deploy, cheerio.